بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. You know the title for tonight? Anybody knows? The last week. The last week in Ramadan. All the time the word last means something, right? And if I ask you guys, what do you expect I will be talking about? Can anyone help? What do you think I'm going to be talking about? Allah knows. Huh? Raise your hand because yes. How to make the most out of the last week? Beautiful. What else? يلا يا شيخ يلا. Eh? ليلة القدر. Beautiful. What else? طيب. When you say the last week or the last day, all the time you get the feeling of there's something important that's going to end, and I wonder what should be I doing in this particular time, right? يعني for example, yes, put it on يا عم الشيخ. ايده خليه شوي. Yeah, because if somebody wants to read something and listen to me, she has the right to read what you say. For example, the week before the finals, right? How do you study in the beginning of the year and the week before the finals, right? It's different. It's a different. Someone is racing to grasp as much as he can, and he wants to cement all the information, wrap it up together, and tie it together so he will do good in the final. Is that correct? All right. So, in the horse race, the horse will be running until they feel like they're getting to the final, and then the jockey and everybody start pushing hard to win, right? So, in arm wrestling, right? In arm wrestling, both of them are working so hard, and this particular last few seconds will determine who's the winner, right? And even in the marathon, they find all the runners running next to each other until the final lap. That's when everybody speeds up because the end is near and the winning is there, right? Type. What is the end of this week, this coming week? What is the end of this coming week? It's called Yawmul Ja'iza, the day of the reward, and the night of that day is the night of the reward, Laylatul Ja'iza, which is the night of the day of the Eid, which is the last night of Ramadan. Tomorrow will be the Eid, that will be the night of the Ja'iza, and the Yawm al-Eid is Yawm al-Ja'iza. What is the Ja'iza for? Ja'iza means reward. You get your certificate, right? Completed Ramadan successfully. He did so and so and so. This is what you're going to get, inshallah, in the day of the Eid. And that the hadith is lengthy. That's why time you have to be happy. The angels will come to congratulate. They will be on the road, jamming, so happy with us. But that's on the day of the Eid. So obviously, this race has an end. The end is Ja'iza, reward, right? Type. What would be your attitude if you know, like I remember when I was 11 years old, the doctors told my parents that he has a few weeks to live, right? And all of a sudden, I saw treatment so different from my parents. So much love in their eyes, everything is quite different. Why? Because they see like there's an end. Don't ask me, did you die? No, I didn't. The feeling of there's an end, right? You all the time say to yourself, right, do I really feel there's something precious is fleeing out of my way? Am I going to lose something? Okay, I'm going to ask you this question, and please don't answer me. Think for 30 seconds before you answer me. If each one of us tomorrow morning went together to the Muslim cemetery in Totowa, and I asked each one of you, each sister and every brother, can you go look for someone your age and ask him how much would you pay to come back for this week? How much? This is the question. How much you will pay me to give you to come in my place for a whole week and I will go in your place? Or whatever it is. What do you think will be the answer if they can communicate and tell you? Raise your hand. Everything. Wallahi, this is very true. Everything. Everything that he owns, everything in his life, he will pay it for this 1 week. Right? But how about if you tell him just 1 day? He will still pay everything to come for 1 day, right? Why, brothers and sisters? We know at the time the soul is leaving your body, first thing is, Rabbi rji'oon, Ya Allah, I want to come back, right? For 6 hours, 2 hours, just anything. I want, لعلي أعمل صالحا فيما تركت, so I can do something better than what I left behind. كلا كلا خلاص. Once you're gone, you're gone, right? Same thing with Ramadan. Once Ramadan is gone, it's gone. They say like, as we progressing towards the end of Ramadan, the folder is getting to be closed, right? And that will be it until the day of judgment is not going to open, right? Sayyidina Hassan al-Basri says every day in the morning when the sun rises, say, Ya ibn Adam, ana khalqun jadid. I'm a newborn. Wa ala amalika shahid. And I am witnessing your performance in the day. فاغتنمني فإني لا أعود إلى يوم القيامة. Take advantage of me. I do not come until the day of judgment. This is for an average day. How about a Ramadan day? Right? A Ramadan day is a very precious day. How about the last 10 days or 10 nights of Ramadan? It's a super precious, right? And here's my question. How many of us really get in their heart that there's something very precious ahead of me, right? How many think along this line, right? How many of us thinking, I can't wait because I have to buy something for the Eid, I have to get this and that, right? So many of us thinking along this line, right? So if the child, you give him a lollipop and a piece of gold, he will take the lollipop, right? We have a precious, huge block of gold in the next week. By the way, the hadith says, التمسوها في العشر الأواخر, seek it in the last 10 nights. Another hadith as strong as, say, seek it in the last 7 nights. And the strongest in the night of the 27th, right? So it is, inshallah, the Layl al-Qadr is definitely ahead. But the question is, what should I do in this coming week? You want something from my head or what I wrote? From my head? All right. طيب. Here's a statement, I want to think of it. Yes, you have been 20 days knocking on the doors of Allah to open up. You have been doing this. You're fasting. You're coming for Taraweeh. You this and that, right? And you're making dua, you're making dhikr, right? But you feel like, I don't think the door is open yet, right? But wallahi, the door is ready to open. This coming week, the door is ready to open. Imam Hassan al-Basri said that, by the way, I love him. I'm going to quote him a lot because he is as close as you can get to a prophet. He's not a prophet, of course, he's tabi'i. But he used to say, I learned from a child how to deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A child that his mom opened the door and throw him out, and he kept saying, Mom, please, crying, and she's not opening, she's not responding. And then finally he put his head on the door and he slept sobbing. And his mom looked from the keyhole and she saw him. So her heart softened and she opened the door for him to come in, right? So, yes, 20 days passed while you feel like, I don't think my heart is good enough yet. I don't think I connected with Allah yet, right? That might be all of us saying the same thing, right? But I'm going to give you an example of something also about me. There's a great doctor, may Allah bless his soul, his name is Dr. Ahmad Qadi. he is very good specialist in so many things, right? So I went to him, and he's a friend. So he said, "Okay, I tell you what. I'm gonna give you something to clean the stomach and the intestine. It's detoxicant, but it's gonna take a week." عسل ولا سكر يا؟ طب زبا. أنا قايل له عسل والله. He said, it's detoxicant. I said, fine. He said, but you have to promise me that you're going to take it. I said, fine. It's awful treatment, which is you drinking just fluids, has chemicals in it, whatever it is, natural stuff. But anyhow, in the fifth day, it's a whole week. In the fifth day, I got a fever. So I called him. He said, this is good news. I said, what? He said, the system has been resenting and resisting what you have been taking, and now it's collapsing and ready to fall apart to show you that it's working. Same thing like if you go, Sheikh Dr. Munir, if you ask him about antibiotic, he said, you take the antibiotic for about a few days and it works in the fifth days, in the 6 days. It's not going to work it's not going to give you cure immediately. Why? Because the body resists, right? There is a resentment here and the resistance. And this struggle between two things, one of them has to win, right? One of them has to win. We said that this month is the annual camp designed to make you win. Win what? This heart that has been stricken by so many bad behavior, sins, wrongdoings, whatever it is, it precipitates on the heart. And the heart goes for stages. First one, spot when you make a sin. 2, 3, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then until it becomes ghishawa. Ghishawa means it has a help me near. Ghishawa is what? يعني film on it. Has a film around, صح? طيب. And then hujub. Hujub means shielded. And then go to غلف, wrapped. And then goes to khatam. Allah put the seal in it. It's not working. Not much is penetrating anymore except by her permission, by his permission. And then عليها أقفالها, locked. And then the worst stage is كالحجارة. The heart keep getting worse and worse until you reach like كالحجارة أو أشد قسوة. It goes even worse than stones, right? And this is stages, right? Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, like, okay, I know, I created you. خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا. The human being has been created weak. And he says also, كُلُّ بَنِي آدَمَ خَطَّاء. All you guys are sinners. Not khati'. Khati' means one sin, but khata' means multiple sins. You have that. I know that, right? I created you, right? I created angels that do not do any sin, but I created you and I'm happy with you. I know you're going to make sense, but I have the prescription, right? The prescription is so many, but one of them, or the most important of all of them is Ramadan in general, but Al-Hajj also in particular, but Al-Hajj, the majority of the Muslim Ummah will not be able to afford to go to Hajj. So let's focus on Ramadan now. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take us, what you call it, shifting the gear. First gear, second gear, third gear. The smart one of us now to realize that I am in the fourth gear where the race has to end in my favor, right? إذا كنا فاهم شيخ طب ممكن ستيك ها طيب you are approaching the end of the race, right? All the time when you say like I'm approaching the end of the race, you really have to drop everything because you see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? You see it. Yes, I'm not there yet, but I'm too close, right? And look at the Quran when he spoke about, everybody hears me? Because the sister complained that they cannot hear me, even though I think my voice is beautiful. طيب. So here it is. Think of this. The race, right? As you get closer, see what the Quran says. He says, Sari'u. Sari'u means what? Speed up the process. At one time he said like, siru, imshu, walk. And sometimes is sari'u, go fast, run. And sometimes says sabiqu. Sabiqu means get into competition to win it, right? And sometimes he says istabiqu. Istabiqu means grab it before anybody else. Everybody say like Laylatul Qadr, inshallah, when it comes, yes, inshallah, this is a very beautiful night, and inshallah, Allah will grant all of us this beautiful, big gift, right? But in the meantime, I want you to go back to, before we say what's Laylatul Qadr, I want you to go back to the cemetery in Totua again, right? If you say, all right, I'll give you only 1 hour to come to the dunya in these days, in this last few days in Ramadan, they will come and he will pay everything for this 1 hour. You know what he's going to do in this 1 hour? Look, we say that Laylatul Qadr better than 83 years, 1,000 months. We say that. Everybody memorize that, right? And how about 1 hour? You know what hour is better than? 9 years. 1 hour in Laylatul Qadr is better than 9 years. You know what 1 minute is? Better than 2 months. 1 minute, right? And 1 second is 1 second better than 24 hours, right? This is a simple calculation based on Laylatul Qadr is about 10 hours. Some of you already calculated this, the smart ones, right? So this is the way it is. 1 second equals 24 hours. If he say, I'll let you come for 1 hour of ibadah in this particular nights, which inshallah we have to respect all this coming 8 nights, all of them without exception, right? Of course, tonight is an even number, but tomorrow is an odd number, and we have to keep this open, our ears and eyes open to this. But for 1 hour, he have 2 months of ibadah. It's beautiful, right? Did you really get the so-called ilm? We have 3 kinds of ilm. Ilm yaqeen, ayn yaqeen, haq yaqeen. Yaqeen is certainty. Does anybody believe that Allah is not telling us the truth? That Laylatul Qadr khair min alf shahr? Right? Do you believe that Allah is not telling us the truth? Huh? No, Allah is telling us the truth. Whatever He says is absolute fact. So Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months. Type. When I get that in my mind, right, I say, I will do anything. I will do anything not to allow, like I was listening to Sheikh Omar Suleiman. Yeah, he was saying, the smart person is the one when everybody's chatting, just get up, walk away, and say, I'm going to be, like say, after suhoor, everybody wants to chat for a few minutes. He say, no, not in these nights. I'm going to go on the corner, I'm going to make dua, I'm going to do istighfar, and, right? Why? He said, this is what will make, you know what, the horse, when he pushes his neck at the end of the race to win, that is what the attitude that will get you the gold medal or the whatever it is, right? We all the time sometimes doubt Allah's generosity, right? Karamillah, when you say like, you're going to be rewarded that's so heavily in this particular time, sometimes we say like, is it really true? It is very true, but when? When? This is the biggest question. When and how, right? The doors open when you show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seriousness, right? I was teaching in Bergen Community College, and there was a young lady in the class, and she was a very slow learner. Yeah, and she has difficulty learning, right? And she used to cry. She's I don't understand. I think I'm a failure. I think مش عارف إيه وبتاع. I kept, wallahi, I saw that she is putting tremendous efforts. She definitely was putting tremendous efforts. You know what I did? I went out of my way to help her and build her confidence. And alhamdulillah, she got B. She deserved it. She earned it. But what was, she showed me I want to work hard, and Allah put something in my heart to help her to do this. And alhamdulillah, she appreciated this for the rest of whatever it is. But the thing is this, Allah also wants you to show Him efforts, right? Allah can give everything so easily. That doesn't change anything. But He wants you to earn it because He says, ج- ألا إن سلعة الله غالية. Allah's product is very expensive. ألا إن سلعة الله هي الجنة. This thing that Allah is going to give you is a Jannah. So why do you expect to get Jannah for free? There's nothing for free here, right? يعني give me, what did you ever get some like this commercial whatever advertisement, free so and so and so? There's no such thing called free. صح? There's no free. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, same thing. Show me, all right? You don't have to be Sayyidina Abu Bakr. Nobody's asking for this, right? But at least show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like this girl showed me that she's going to put efforts, right? So, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let Sayyidah Hajar, when her husband Sayyidina Ibrahim put her in the desert, and he left her, and she said to him, where are you going? He said, I have to go back to Palestine. Palestine, he said, you're leaving me in the desert with no water and nothing, and a baby, and he said, you're going back? So he didn't answer her. She said, Allahu amarak, did Allah order you? He said, Naam, yes. She said, then idhab falan yudayya'na, go. He's not going to put us in any jeopardy. We'll be fine, right? So he left, right? After a couple of days, the food is gone, the water is gone, the baby is crying hysterically, the mother's heart is ready to jump out of her chest. It was just awful. And she started running. She started running for water. And where did she go? Safa. She sees the mirage in between. She ran to the mirage, assuming it's water, no water. She ran to the Marwa. Back and forth 7 times. Wallahi, so many of us that went there, they know how difficult it is, even though it's air conditioned now. But at that time, there was no roof. It is very difficult. And the mirage only shows in the worst time of the day, which is after Dhuhr, right? So here's a question. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, she relied on him. Why did He let her run 7 times? Why? Is not 1 time is enough? She did her work. So 1 time, it would be more than enough. He let her run 7 times. You know why? Because Allah's help comes when you put the maximum effort. Don't expect that Allah can say, oh sure, you did enough. Alhamdulillah, you fasted the first, whatever it is, and alhamdulillah, you watched all the good shows, whatever it is, now you deserve it. No, that's not going to happen, right? You have to show Him the maximum effort to qualify for this precious gift that everybody is talking about, Laylat al-Qadr, right? Inshallah, it will come, but definitely it will come. But the thing is this, are you going to be one of those that will be written as observed Laylat al-Qadr, and it will be put in your scale as ibadah for 1,000 a month? This is the question, right? طيب. Then we said that in this particular 7 nights or 1 week, by the way, tomorrow is Tuesday, correct? There will be no more Tuesdays in Ramadan. No, Monday started, ya ukhti. We are in Monday. No, tomorrow is Tuesday, right? So there's no more Tuesday for the rest of the month, right? There is no Fridays, there's nothing. And I remember, wallahi, when we were little, my mother, when the last Friday comes in Ramadan, she cries because in Egypt they quote "El-Gum al-Yatima," the orphan Friday. Orphan means khalas, there's no more Fridays. And she used to cry all Fridays. Why? Khalas, Ramadan is over, right? Type. Let's get to this. See Allah's promise, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Those who are going to put jihad means efforts, juhd, in my way, or I will guide them. لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. لما تقول لَنَهْدِيَ, this kind of expression in Arabic means definitely, absolutely, positively, I will guide them, right? وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا. But put few lines under the word jahadu, means put juhd, put efforts, right? Type. what exactly we all looking for? يعني, for one word, what are we looking for to achieve in this particular week? Raise your hand because I don't know. Raise the hand so I don't know who's talking. To please Allah? That's what anything else? الجنة مش كده؟ طيب. Said Aisha قالت له رسول الله, if I get that, what should I say if I get ليلة القدر? He said, just say one thing. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عني. Ya Allah, you are عفو. What is the difference between عفو and غفور? غفور forgives but keep it in your record. عفو, erase it. Right? What do you want basically is clean slate. Right? That's what you're asking for. Right? طيب, what is clean slate means? It means Jannah, right? What يعني after this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wipe this type. What else I'm asking for in Ramadan? What else other than clean slate? Raise your hand. عتق من النار. عتق من النار is the top. عتق من النار, that your record will be stamped, will never touch hell. That's it. Straightforward to Jannah. That's عتق من النار. Even brothers and sisters, even if you make mistakes after Ramadan, Allah doesn't change His mind. Once you have been stamped with عتق من النار, you will never be otherwise. Clear? طيب. Then let's go quickly over Surah Al-Qadr. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر. Right? What is the surah before this one? Munir, اصحى Munir. Because if you fall asleep, I don't feel to continue. Especially you. طيب. Surah Al-Qadr. Everybody memorize it, right? إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من ألف شهر. There is nothing in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الحاقة ما الحاقة وما أدراك ما الحاقة, and then He says الحاقة so and so. He doesn't say that. Only out of glorification of raising the status of that, He said like, إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر. I thought FBI agent coming to home. Like, وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. And then He's answering. He could say هي خير من ألف شهر. يعني مش كده? He said, we revealed it, the Quran, in ليلة القدر. وما أدراك ما. What do you know about ليلة القدر? He could said هي خير من ألف شهر. He didn't say that. He said ليلة القدر خير من ألف شهر. As if this is, I'm glorifying, this is the only, in the Quran, in the whole Quran, this is the only time something is mentioned 3 times in this fashion, to tell you how great she is, right? And ask yourself, what is the surah before this? اقرأ. Who said that? جزاك الله خير أبو. خد. ارجع لا ارجع. طيب. The surah before this is اقرأ. Correct? اقرأ means what? Read. Everybody knows that? Alhamdulillah. Read what? ها? Quran. مش كده؟ يبقى اقرأ Quran. وبعدين what is the last ayah in this surah? ها? واسجد واقترب. Make sujood and get close. Close to who? To Allah, right? And what is the first word after this in Surah Al-Qadr? Inna anzalnahu. Again, the first word in Surah Iqra, between brackets Quran, the last word is isjud waqtarib, make sujood and get closer and nearer, and then Inna anzalnahu. See, Quran, isjud waqtarib, Quran, right? As if they say the Quran, the whole Quran is one unit. There's no, يعني if you look for the end of Surah Al-Isra and the beginning of Surah Al-Kahf and this kind of thing, they all connected. معايا؟ طيب, the connection here is just giving you a signal, right? اقرأ, which we all could accuse ourselves that we are so-called Quran deserter. Hajir al-Quran. Most of us are not doing enough with Allah's book, correct? طيب, اقرأ. That's one. In this particular night, اقرأ واسجد واقترب. Quran, Salah, Sujood means dua. أقرب ما يكون العبد والله وهو ساجد. The closest to Allah when you are in the state of sujood. So Quran, sujood, Salah, Sujood, dua, and then where? In Laylat al-Qadr. Inna anzalna fi al-Qadr. There's nothing more that you can do in this night or this particular beautiful few nights left except اقرأ, اسجد, اقترب, inna anzalna fi al-Qadr. Right? This connection is extremely important. Type. There is a piece of advice for myself and for my sisters and for my brothers. Is that all I can do in the next until Tuesday or Monday night? If that's all, there's something more, brothers and sisters, which to me is as important as seeking Laylat al-Qadr, which is this. You need to take time by yourself with honesty and look at yourself and say, like, let me write what is wrong with me, right? Where is the weakness that I'm not happy with myself, I'm not pleased with myself, right? Why? In these particular nights where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, well, I'm not going to go again, everybody from the beginning of the month is telling you that this 10 nights is so precious, Allah, this is and that, and comes down at this particular time of the night. Allah comes to as-sama' ad-dunya, hal min mustaghfirin, hal min tab, anyone wants to make istighfar so I can forgive him, anyone wants to make tawbah so I can accept. We know all the stuff and I'm not going to keep repeating this, right? But the thing is this, right? Why don't you take time between Dhuhr and Asr tomorrow and start putting down where's my weakness that I do not want to continue after Ramadan, right? Because in Ramadan, Bismillah, mashallah, we are doing okay. And some of us doing good and some of us are doing great. But in the meantime, here's the time to open up with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, say like, Ya Allah, I want to change. I want your help for me now to get better and to accept me and to lift me up with my iman, my relationship with you and my khushu' and salah and kind of thing. But I need your help because I want to change, right? The challenges that facing the Muslim Ummah is so huge, requires each one of us to rise up to the challenges that lying ahead. There is tremendous challenges lying ahead, and this is not the time for it. But what do I want to do with myself? What is my weakness? I'm going to go over certain things just to help you to know where's your weakness, and take a mental note, right? Because you don't have pen and pencils, but in the meantime, you can take a mental note, right? The first one is, in every salah we say, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدْ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدْ, you're the only one that we worship, right? But is that easy? This is extremely difficult. I cannot do it on my own. I need your help. إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, I need your help, right? So if you say, this is my biggest problem, I need Allah's help, and because He is the one that I worship, I'm nobody else. But in the meantime, I need His help, right? From now on, please, when you get to this in the salah, get a mental picture. Ya Allah, the ibadah is I'm weak, I'm not doing good, I need your help. I need your help. This way, that will trigger Allah's help in this particular ibadah. Here it is. Quickly, I'm going to just read 12 things. 12? Yeah, 12. Right? I'm not going to explain, I'm just going to read them, and then you say to yourself, do I have this problem or not? Right? Do I have this problem or not? And if you do, again, take a mental note. The first one is, where do I stand with dhikr, dua, istighfar, repeating tawbah? Where do I stand with this? This is number one. This is for you to answer on your own. Second one, where do I stand with my salah, khushu', fajr if I can in the masjid, isha if I can in the masjid, right? Where do I stand with this? Number three, where do I stand with my relationship with Allah's book? Reading, reciting, listening, trying to understand meaning. Where do I stand with this? Where do I stand with attending classes that's being given all over the masajid and so on and so? Where do I stand with spending for the path of Allah? Even, you say, like, I'm a student. Yes, I know. $10, anything that you can give, because the sadaqah is not only for the rich people, right? You know the hadith, أحب ثلاثا وحبي لثلاث أشد. I love three, but my love for the other three are more intense. One of them, أحب الغني المتصدق. I love the rich person that's giving charity, but my love for the poor person who's giving charity is more intense. And wallahi, while you are poor, spend 10, 15, whatever you can while you are poor before you become rich. And when you become rich, you're going to be disqualified from intense love by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? You can give $10 in the right time to the right person, that's all you have, and Allah knows what will be the reward. And you can give $1 million while you're worth in the billions, and Allah knows that is way less than the $10 that a poor person gave. So that's another thing. Number four, where do you stand with the choosing friends criteria? What's your criteria for choosing friends? Are they the one that lift you up, or this is the one that pull you down when you are up? This is something to think of it. And this again, I'm reminding myself and you, I'm going to do this inshallah tomorrow after dhuhr. I'm going to write down all my problems, right? And I'll tell you what's the solution in a few minutes. Tip. Am I in any halaqa study group? Am I in any kind of Islamic educational thing, or I have nothing to do with this? Number five, if there's anything that is volunteering my effort to anything that's charitable in masjid, in center, whatever it is, do I drag my feet or I run to it? Think of this. Where do I stand with procrastination? Procrastination in anything. In the salah is number one, and any good deeds, right? By the time you decide to go visit a sick person in the hospital, either he did or he left the hospital, right? You just have to pay attention to these things, right? Type. Number seven, where do I stand with visiting the cemetery? Where do I stand with this? Because the Prophet said, Zuruha, go visit, right? This is a strong reminder, right? Type. Number eight, where do you stand with every time you try and fail and then you give up? Do you really try and fail and then give up? Where do you stand with this? Type. Number nine, where do you stand with doing muhasabah or accountability while you're going to sleep? Am I really doing good with Allah? Did I do a good salah today? Did I look at haram today? Did I spend so much time on the internet? Did I spend all this is muhasabah before you go to sleep? This is, the Prophet said, man hasaba nafsa, whoever do the muhasabah, accountability in the dunya, he doesn't have to worry in the hereafter. He will be fine, right? Number eight, where do you stand in the area of remembering from time to time death? Death, right? Huh? Allah yajzik khair. Wallahi, think of this. If one of my children asked me, said, like, I just feel my heart is dead. A few weeks later, a friend of his drowned in Lake George, right? So I told him, go help washing his body, right? Just washing his body. It was a transforming experience, right? There was a sister that her husband came to me and said, look, I have to divorce her. Why, I'm Sheikh? He said, she doesn't want to have hijab. And I cannot continue like this, right? Subhanallah. Her best friend got a heart attack. She was 30 years old. And the Sheikh advised him to let her go help wash the body. She came out from the washing room. She wants to have niqab, not hijab. She wants to become extreme, right? Why? She saw what she uncovering, laying down on the table, nothing, right? Where do we stand from thinking of this, thinking that each one of us will be in the grave, and each one of us, his beautiful body will be eaten by the worms, and the first part, the worms will go to the openings, here, wherever it is, right? Think of this, right? Type. Number 9. How do you feel about saying goodbye in the last 10 nights of Ramadan? How do you feel about this? Alhamdulillah, I want to go back to normal? Or a sad feeling that this precious gift is fleeing fast? Ask yourself this question. How do you feel about the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah? Right? Do you roll the sleeve and get ready? Or just another thing? How do you feel? I'm talking about feelings now. About Salah in the beginning of the time. Yani the adhan comes in, drop everything and go for the Salah. How do you feel about that? All right? You have to answer yourself. How do you feel that your productivity is very low? Your productivity in life is very low. You just, yani, when they said, Rasulullah, ask it, who in Salat al-Fajr, in the Fajr prayer, who visited a sick person? Abu Bakr said, yes, I did. Who gave a charity? Abu Bakr said, yes. Who? Abu Bakr said, yes. Right? For the Prophet said, Ya Abu Bakr, you enter paradise from any door you want. That's Salat al-Fajr, mish al-Dhuhr. Right? And some of us, in the Isha prayer, he did not do any of this. Yeah. From the morning until the end of the day, he didn't do anything, right? Where's the barakah? And you ask him, Wallah, I'm very busy. Busy doing what? Right? And that's why in America here they say, like, if you want my boss used to say this, he comes and give me a project, and there's other professionals have time, and I'm busy. I said, I called him, Dimi, why give it to me? I have 100 things to do. You know what he says? He said, those who work hard, the busy ones, are the ones that are gonna do it. The one that are gonna tell me, Allah, I'm too busy, they are not gonna produce anything, right? So ask yourself, what's your productivity in life, right? I'm not saying be like Sayyidina Abu Bakr in the Fajr prayer, he did 5 things, right? Just ask, be honest with yourself. And then, how about where do you stand with how many hours you spend on social media, right? Ask yourself this in tomorrow, right? Not tonight. How many hours you spend on social media, right? How do you spend on watching shows in the TV and sports and how many times you socialize? Guys, you want to go to a restaurant, there's a beautiful Pakistani restaurant on the corner here in the Mshaf Ibta, delicious, and there's another one open, the Mshaf. This is it, right? You find that's it, right? How about where do you stand with parents, right? How do you stand with parents? Are you so decent, or you are rough? I don't want to use words, but where do you stand with how you treat parents, which will qualify you for Jannah or not? Do you remember when the ayah that says يود المجرم لو يفتدي من عذاب يومئذ ببنيه وصاحبته وأخيه وفصيلته التي تؤويه ومن في الأرض جميعا ثم ينجيه. In the day of judgment, the mujrim, the one who is the transgressor, he will say, Ya Rabbi, take my children, but I want to be saved. Or take my spouse, or my brother, or take my whole tribe, take the whole world, but I want to be saved. And they ask, How come he didn't say, take my parents? Because if he said, take my parents, he is gonna get Allah so angry with him at him. Because this is the people I assigned to you. You cannot get closer to them. Right? Why? Which means that you ask your question in this particular time tomorrow after Dhuhr, where do I stand with my parents? Even if your parents are pain in the neck, they bother you, they مش عارف, they aggravate you, I cannot take مش عارف ايه, I can, and all the stuff that everybody says. I can tell you something. How about if your parents are kafir and they pushing you to be kafir and they making life miserable? And I had a sister that her mother make, wallahi, I don't want to go through it, but so awful. But she a new Muslim telling me, but she's my mother, and the Quran says, فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيا مَعْرُوفًا. Don't be a kafir, but be kind. Be this and that, right? Then, this is the new Muslim, understand this. And so many born Muslim, when it comes to dealing with mothers and particularly mothers and then father, we take advantage, we are polite, okay, later when I have time, Baba مش هفتح دهوت. Type. Number 12, where do you stand with getting into things that doesn't concern you? Thing is not your business. Do you feel like getting into this all the time? You want looking for the gossip? You just want to you want to chat, shoot the so-called shoot the breeze. That's what it is. Then you put your feet down and say, okay, I know I'm sick, right? Ya Allah, this coming week, I need your help. I want to change, right? And you know my weakness, right? I have been weak for so long. I have so many things that precipitated on my heart that my heart is ill, is not healthy one, right? Type. Do you think the heart that is slightly ill and the heart that is ill and the heart that is very ill, the heart that is, some friend of mine, I just called him, he said like, the doctor told him, your heart's functioning 15%, right? That's very ill, right? This is the physical heart. But the other heart, right, the metaphoric heart, if it's 15%, you are not doing good. But you know what? The chance is still here. You have the most powerful detergent that can clean, which is the coming week. The most powerful detergent that will remove all this rust. Here's a question. If you have an oven or stove that you have been cooking and grease going down and and you never cleaned it for a year, you know how it looks like? It becomes black, gooey, and disgusting, correct? Even if you start putting the oven cleaner, it's going to do something, but it's still ugly. And you try another oven cleaner, it gets slightly better until at one point, the breaking point, and then the oven will be cleaned, right? Now, we are at the time where the most powerful detergent is waiting, right? Allah is looking for any sign from any one of us to say, Ya Allah, I'm here. I want to. I'm ready, right? Where did I put it? Here it is. Yeah, alhamdulillah, we have time. There's two things. You remember when I told you about اقرأ اسجد واقترب? You remember that? ولا? You remember? طب اصحى. اقرأ اسجد واقترب أنزلناه في ليلة القدر. Remember that, right? طب القرآن, Allah described the Quran as what? Nur. And Allah described himself as Nur. And Allah described the Salah as Nur. And he described the Sabr as Nur. So, I want Allah's Nur to come to my heart, because if Allah's Nur comes to the heart, everything will fall apart fast and you'll be okay. How can I get Allah's Nur? Is the two main components is Salah and Quran. Both of them, the most powerful thing, right? Salah and Quran. I know Sheikh Osama spoke about the Salah and Sheikh Munir spoke about whatever it is, and Sheikh Zaid, everybody spoke about this issue. I'm not going to go over Salah and the Quran. You already know that, right? And if you do not know, see me after Ramadan, inshallah. Okay. طيب. Sheikh Osama, we're still halfway. Because when he comes means that get ready to finish. I'm not. Right? طيب. خلاص يا عم الشيخ. What? آه. يعني أكمل؟ طيب حاضر. طيب. All right. Here's the prescription for treatment. Right? First one, الذكر, الدعاء, الاستغفار, تكرار التوبة. This is the first one. ذكر, دعاء, استغفار, تكرار. الذكر, we know what ذكر means. الدعاء, right? استغفار, everybody knows this, or you want in English, right? وبعدين repeating التوبة. This is after any kind of sin, regards what is it, right away, اتبع السيئة الحسنة تمحوها. You get up, make wudu, pray 2 rak'ah, inshallah, it will wipe it out, right? طيب. Second thing is, if you can, the Fajr prayer and the Isha prayer should be in the masjid. طيب. You tell me, well, alhamdulillah, I do it at home with khushu'ah. No, it's not that. Biyutillah, where the nur is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, remember when he said like, Allahu nur, samawati wal ard, where the nur is, fi buyutin adhina Allahu an turfa'a wa dhukra fi asmu. Allah decreed that he permitted us to change this place to be house of Allah. Then the nur will be here. Regardless, if you come to sit down doing nothing between Asr and Maghrib for an hour, this is Allah will put nur in your heart. So then, Salah, Fajr and Isha, inshallah, to the best of your ability. In the masjid, this is, again, we're trying to use the most powerful detergent to get the heart back to normal. The third thing is reconnect with Allah's book. Right? Between reading, looking at the translation, listen to one of the shuyukh like Sheikh Omar Sulaiman, Sheikh Yasser al-Qadi, any sheikh that you like, right? You can listen. You cannot listen to me because I have no tapes. So, طيب. The third one is try to suppress the stinginess in your heart, which is giving any time there is a $10 thing, give it. You want to sponsor مش عارف ايه, give it. Don't hesitate. Don't tell me I'm a student, I'm broke. حتى even if you broke, right? That's why we're approaching Sadaqat al-Fitr. Sadaqat al-Fitr, if you broke, you still have to give it, right? Type. The third one, which to me is very important for the younger brothers and sisters, choosing the friend. Choosing the friend we know. We spoke about this before. As-sahib sahib. The friend pulls, right? يعني, if you want to know someone that's failure, look at his friends. If you want good, look at his friends. My children, they used to be a couple of my children, they used to be friendly with Islam al-Fayoumi. They were together, same age, whatever it is. So they call me Baba, we're gonna be late for an hour. We are with Islam al-Fayoumi, right? In other words, like we are in a safe side, in a safe way, right? So sometimes when you pick your friends, even your parents will be comfortable. With the parents will be comfortable that you're choosing the right friends. Next one is try to be in a weekly halaqa, study group, right? And this is a commercial here, advertisement. What is funny, here, we're going to have halaqat if you leave a name with me or with the sister downstairs or with Sheikh Osama or with one of the sisters sitting here that's in halaqa, inshallah we'll get in touch with you and some of the brothers right? We will have a halaqah for you, weekly halaqah, inshallah, to be a big help. And wallahi, the halaqat extremely important. There was one sister that used to come to a halaqah from Brooklyn, and then she said, Amma, I cannot come anymore. I said, fine, I understand, right? And then a year later, her brother died. The funeral was in the other end of Long Island, 2.5 hour drive, right? And when we went there, she kept crying. She said, I knew the only one who come is the group that I sat with them for Allah, right? And we were the only people that were there, right? For this is the beauty of the halaqah, to tie group together, right? طيب. Number 5, which is a prescription now, is to cut on the hesitation to do good. Anytime you have a chance to do good, don't hesitate. Don't say like, oh, let me think of it. I need to discuss it, right? Like I remember when I got my first contract to get a job, so the president asked me, you want to discuss it over with your wife? I said, for what? I'm not used to this. But anyhow, so uh, so whenever you see something, don't hesitate, just move fast, right? طيب, number 6. Huh? Yeah, I don't consult with women. Number 5. بنت أقولك بعدين. صلى على النبي. طيب, number 6, think of procrastination. Procrastination is cancer, right? Procrastination, the shaitan is looking for you to say like, not now, inshallah, I'll do it when just my back is hurting, whatever it is. No, if you jump, if you start moving fast, right? Procrastination, worst one is the salah. If you say like, the adhan is in, adhan, Allah said, come. Allahu Akbar means Allah greater than what you're doing. And you said like, still the Sheikh Osama said, the time for dhuhr is between dhuhr and asr. You salam, fiz, go. والله Sheikh Osama. Yes, how do you know you're going to live to the end of the time? صح? There's no procrastination. Just be honest with yourself. Number 7 prescription is go visit the cemetery in Totowa. Look for someone your age and sit down and make dua for him. Right? Good. Yani, all the time you will find someone your age. Because if you go statistically, the under 20, under 40, under 60, under 80, they all 1 to 1 to 1, right? You will find anything that you want in the cemetery. Anybody in your age you will find. Sit down and start making dua for him, right? And then when you go to sleep, think that is you, that's already in the grave, right? And start saying to yourself, am I ready? Am I be able to answer the question, who is Rabbuk, who is Nabiyuk, ma kitabak, am I? All the stuff, brothers and sisters, is not, I'm not giving you ilm. I'm just reminding you what you already know. Number 8, do not ever say, I tried, I'm a loser. Not with Allah. Not with Allah. You keep trying. You remember the kid that was knocking on the door until his mother opened? You never say, I tried, I'm a failure, I cannot do it, right? No, you keep knocking on Allah's door until it opens. And this coming 7 days, right, inshallah, that is where the door very likely to open. Because this is the peak of Allah's generosity of the year. And this is the nights where you really sitting at the night where Allah comes to as-sama' ad-dunya in the blessed months of Ramadan, in the last 10 nights, which is the most blessed of the whole month, and you're knocking on the door, you think it's not going to open? The chances are the highest possibility of opening the door is the next week. Type. The only one that should be ya'is or despair is Iblis, because he has no time. But for us, Prophet Muhammad, when he was asked, he said, Inna Allah la yamallu hatta tamallu. Allah will never be bored with you until you become bored with him, right? And the last one, which I already said before, is accountability when you go to sleep. Just take a minute and play the tape of the day. 1 minute, 60 seconds exactly, and play the tape. Did I look at haram? Did I waste so much time in this? Did I was مش عارف إيه, did I speak مش عارف إيه? Did I lie? Did I reveal the secret? Did I go ask all the stuff, right? Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, and then determine not to do it tomorrow, right? This is what muhasabah means, right? So this is half the time now. Now this is the next half of the khatira. So, طيب, I'll tell you what. If you want it, you have to get up and demonstrate. And Sheikh Osama, either Ammu Fikry continue, or we're going to go to the parking lot with him, and you pray by yourself. This is up to you. Here it is. Sheikh, inshallah, some other time. طيب. Yeah. نعم. في وقت؟ أو طيب في وقت استغفر الله يا شيخ طيب. 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 Now, we said what is the most important thing. We said Salah, we said Qur'an. Quran. Now, I want to focus on dua. Right? There are certain times dua is likely to be accepted more than others, right? It's called awqat istijabat dua, right? And there's places. We're talking about like awqat now. The first and the most important one is Ramadan. And this is, by the way, this is from the book. It's called Izkuruni Azkurkum. The Sheikh, who's the Sheikh? I forgot type. I have the booklet for anyone who wants to borrow it. It's a beautiful booklet. It's good. Remember me, I'll remember you. He said that the most important time in the whole year to make dua is Ramadan, and the last 10 days are the speciality, right? And then he said Yom al-Jum'ah, Day of Judgment. I'm sorry, not Friday. Friday when? The last hour before Maghrib, right? Right, is likely the dua is also an area of istijab dua. You have a Friday coming, correct? In Ramadan. So say, put that, take a mental note. How about fi jawf al-layl? This time from now until Fajr. Until Fajr. This is another time where the beautiful time for making dua, right? And especially the last hour before Fajr, which you make in suhoor, and suhoor is ibadah, right? So take suhoor for 15 minutes, but sit on the side for half an hour and keep making dua, particularly this particular few nights that's coming ahead of us. When the adhan comes in, if you are in the masjid, this is another time for that. And then between the adhan and the iqamah, this is called mawatin istijab dua, time for istijab dua. And then one of the best one is while you're making sujood, while you are in state of sujood. What else? Right after the salah al-maktuba, right after the fajr, dhuhr, asr, and maghrib, isha prayer, right? Right after this, a time for istijab dua. And when you break your fast, it's a guaranteed acceptance, right? And another one which is very good, please, all of you should do it, which is to make dua for a Muslim brother or a Muslim sister, not in front of him or her, right? So if the angel will say like, وَلَكَ مِثْلُ, Allah will give you the same. So if you're smart, all of you, to make dua for me, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said like, and you too will get that. If you're smart, right? The number 10, to make dua for your parents. For your parents. Allah loves that, right? And when you are really in desperate need of something, right? When you reach that situation where I do not know what else to do, this is Martin istijab dua. Type. 2 more minutes. Why the dua is so beautiful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because it shows Allah that you are humbling yourself. You're showing Him that I am your slave, you my master. Tadallul means to humiliate yourself is bad for people, but for Allah is great, right? And this is called al-ubudiyya. This is a real slavery to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And Um, and also, it has another meaning which is called trust in Allah. Because when you are in difficulty, you are not going to someone that cannot help you. You showing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you the one who can help me. That's why anyone who says, like, I'm atheist, take him to the ocean, and when the ocean is rough, right? He will not going to say whatever it is. He said, Ya Allah, right away. Why? Because he knows there's Allah, right? For here, uh, these two kinds of ibadah. Ibadah for asking something and ibadah for ibadah. I'm sorry. There's dua for asking something from Allah and dua for ibadah. Dua for ibadah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمْ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ. Allah wants you to make dua because it's ibadah in itself, right? يعني you don't have to want anything. Just to keep making dua. This is in itself ibadah, right? طيب. And we know that وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا يَعْبُدُونَ. Allah did not create us for any purpose except to ibadah. And this is one of the ibadah. Not only this, the Prophet said that الدعاء, two hadith. One say الدعاء مخ العبادة, the brain of the ibadah. And the other hadith, Sheikh Osama, don't tell me it's da'if. Because every time I ask him for any hadith, he said da'if. There is no da'if here. So, the other hadith says الدعاء هو العبادة. Right? الدعاء هو العبادة. طيب. Why do we make dua? Either if something bad coming down your way, the dua will push it back. If something bad already in here, the dua can lift it. And also, if there is something good, the dua will trigger it. So three things. To push something back that's coming down your way. Don't tell me everything is written when I was in my mother's womb. That's a different story, right? There's not time to argue with me, right? So these three things is, first one is pushes what bad is coming down your way. Also lifts something that's already bad in your life. And the third one is trigger something good to come down to your way, right? So, and they say, هو أكرم شيء على الله. The most, ترجمة ازاي يا شيخ؟ أكرم شيء على الله. The most honorable thing to Allah is dua, right? And also, by dua, you will avoid, خلاص, I have 1 minute, don't be, by dua, you shield yourself from Allah's anger. What does that mean? The Prophet said, مَنْ لَمْ يَسْأَلِ اللَّهِ يَغْضَبُ عَلَيْهِ. Whoever does not ask Allah, Allah will be angry at him. If you ask people, they will get angry at you, right? يعني الله يغضب إن تركت سؤاله وبني آدم حين يسأل يغضب. When you ask Allah, when you don't ask Allah, Allah gets angry at you. When you ask the human being, they get angry at you, right? Ask the wives when they ask their husband 3 times, what happens? The last one is, this is one of the best tools to straighten you in the straight path. One man went to the Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, I want to be with you in Jannah. You know what he told him? اجعل لسانك رطبا بذكر الله. Make your tongue moist with the remembrance of Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala get all of us to be عتقاء من النار. Inshallah, from your help. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help all of us to be honest with ourselves and put down a list of what I want to change, and I need Allah's help, and I will take it seriously, and I will remove any obstacles in my way to become a much better person after Ramadan, and I will use Ramadan to better my life, my relationship with Allah, and if my relationship with Allah is good, it will be good with everything else. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Jazakallah khair, Ammu Fikry. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you greatly for this. Inshallah, the only event that we have remaining during Ramadan is another Ask Me Anything Q&A. It's going to be next Saturday, inshallah ta'ala. That's going to be the night of the 28th. Inshallah, we're going to start our salah in 3 minutes. Jazakumullah khair. And the sisters can stay upstairs here if they would like.